If you've ever owned horses in the Midwest, you already know winter isn't just cold. It's rain, then it's mud, then it's a hard freeze, and suddenly your pasture turns into a field of frozen hoof-shaped landmines. And after living in constant fear that one of the horses would get hurt, we decided to finally fix it. Living in Iowa means wild temperature swings. Snow melts, rain falls, mud forms, then everything freezes solid. Those frozen hoof prints turn into rock-hard little pillars that bruise hooves, twist ankles, and make every step dangerous. We tried scraping it with the tractor. We tried smashing it flat. We even tried pretending it wasn't a problem. None of it worked. Last year, we put down about an inch of crushed limestone over driveway fabric. It helped, a little, but without anywhere for water to drain, it still froze into uneven, dangerous hoof prints. So this year, we went all in. Plan was simple, or at least on paper. First, a 3-ounce, 6 by 300-foot roll of driveway fabric was rolled out. Then about an inch of 3/8-inch crushed rock was added to the top of the driveway fabric for drainage. And on top, about an inch of fine reject limestone for a smooth surface. The goal was to give water somewhere to go, instead of pooling and freezing into chaos. Unfortunately, Iowa chose violence the exact week we had picked for this project. After waiting through a week of nonstop wind, we finally had to just go for it, because the horses were stuck in a smaller pasture until we finished. It was so windy that Dad and I had to recruit my 4-year-old nephew and my 83-year-old grandpa, just to keep the fabric from blowing away. At one point, I was pretty sure my nephew and I were about to become human kites. And the worst part, of course I didn't get that part on video. We finally beat the wind by laying fence posts over the fabric and shoveling rock on top as fast as possible. Once it was anchored, we spread the rock with the skid loader and raked it smooth. It wasn't pretty, it wasn't easy, but it worked. And then I made a very expensive mistake. I assumed all reject limestone was the same. We've always gotten fine, powdery like lime before, so when I ordered 18 tons, I didn't specify which quarry. What showed up was 18 tons of limestone full of huge, sharp rocks. The kind that could absolutely destroy a horse's hoof. Because rain was coming, we rushed, and didn't realize right away that the entire load was rocky, not just the first few scoops. By the time we figured it out, we had already had multiple loads spread, 18 tons sitting in the driveway, and hundreds of dollars invested. So we crossed our fingers and kept going. Big mistake. After the rain, we spent hours picking up buckets of rocks, once again recruiting my 4-year-old nephew, and still barely made a dent. So instead of quitting, we got creative. Using our arena drag and some hardware cloth, we built a homemade rock shifting machine. We dragged the surface over and over, dumping out buckets of rocks every pass. Was it perfect? No. Was it a whole lot better than picking up rocks by hand? Absolutely. Once we had most of the rocks out, we soaked the limestone with water and rolled it using a heavy metal roller behind the 4-wheeler. We repeated that a couple days later, then turned the horses loose. They immediately rolled in it and turned completely white, obviously, but despite the rolling, pawing, and general shenanigans, it held up really well. We installed this pad in November. By January, we already had rain, thaw, and refreeze, the full Iowa experience, and it has held up much better than anything we tried before. No mud, no frozen pillars, no slipping, no lost shoes. Is it perfect? No, but it's about 10 times safer than what we had before. The only downside so far. Some crushed rock has worked its way up. Next time I might try a layer of driveway fabric between the rock and lime. There is a little concern that the lime may dry out the hooves in summer. We'll update after summer on that. Occasionally some of the driveway fabric could be seen through the rock, typically because they've been pawing at it. I definitely learned throughout this project that the quality driveway fabric is key. We made the mistake of using some cheaper stuff in a certain area, and you can definitely tell it's not the quality of the kind that I have included in the link. And lastly, my tall, dark, and handsome horses now look like ghosts after rolling. So, in conclusion, this project wasn't smooth, it wasn't easy, and it definitely wasn't cheap. Between the rock, limestone, and trucking, it cost $994.28. Additionally, we used 2 rolls of the driveway fabric for a total of $127.98, not counting the stress, sore backs, and emotional damage from the rock disaster. But not worrying about slipping, bruised hooves, or injuries every time winter hits, and no slippery mud in the summer to grab shoes and boots, that part is priceless. If you're dealing with mud and frozen ruts, this kind of layered pad is absolutely worth considering. Just double check what limestone you're getting. Trust me. This is just one of the DIY projects we have completed or plan to complete this year. So buckle up, hit subscribe, and follow along as we tackle winter gear, build a custom hay net, modify our hay feeder, and keep figuring things out the DIY way.